Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the TWRS Fireside Chat. I don't remember which episode this is. I do believe it's episode 4, if I'm not mistaken. But definitely great to be here. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. I am on the bottom left here. Of course, we have a new guest joining us today. A new character appears. Brent Carey, going to be up in the top right, or top left, I should say. Down in the bottom right is Vincent Crow, just getting over COVID, I do believe. So he's back strong at 100%. Probably not 100%. He's never been 100%. Up in the top right, though, is James Watson, the big grand poobah. But how's everybody doing? Starting with you, Vincent. How you doing today? Feeling better?
I'm like 95% better from COVID. Everything's fine. I have like a ball of congestion just right here. And when I lay down, it hurts to breathe. But other than that, we're there. I would say we're there. We are this close to being back, boys.
Well, that's good to hear. I know you've been out there turning some laps at Long Beach as well, so you know you got to be feeling better in order to be doing that. That's a physical racetrack. But James, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I will hopefully be able to put in some laps at Long Beach myself, because I'm a masochist like that, and stock cars at road courses are always one of my favorite things to do.
All right. And of course, last but certainly not least, Brent. We're glad to have you join us here in the TWRS Fireside Chat. We've been wanting to get you on for sure. I know since the first time we did it, I think we were wanting to get you on here, but we got you here now, Brent. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man, super happy to be here. My name is Brent Carey. I own or co-own White Knuckle Setup and Graphic Shop.
Hold on just a second. I got to turn you up a little bit here. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear you just fine.
Gotcha,
So,
gotcha.
one more time.
My name is Brent Carey. I'm one of the co-owners of White Knuckle Setup and Graphic Shop. I built the late models there and also the Pro 4 trucks. You know, woo. Um, but I've been in iRacing for going on about 3 or 4 years now. Um, I've been building for a little over 3 years. Just right after I got on, I bought a few setups and I was like, I think I can do this. I know enough about cars, so I just went ahead and started building my own setups, and I got hooked up with my team, and then I started building at a few other shops before White Knuckle, and we birthed White Knuckle as a place, that people just could come and hang out. It didn't matter if you were playing iRacing or League of Legends or something, it didn't matter. You got somebody there to hang out and talk to and just vibe with.
All right, cool. And so, White Knuckle started. When was it that you guys started up?
We started in August of 21.
Okay, cool. So, and kind of the vibe there. Were you just weren't happy with those other shops that you were kind of working at, or what was going on
Well,
there?
I was working at a few other shops that were kind of just they were more or less pop up shops, just kind of come and go shops. We've seen plenty of them, throughout our time of being here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one would just fail, and I'd go to the next, and then that one would fail, and I go to the next. Then I actually was like, I'm just going to start my own thing. I was going to call it Carry Speedworks to start with, actually. And my
Not
good
a
buddy
bad
Josh
name.
Anders, oh, not at all, not at all. My good buddy Josh Anders was building the sprint cars for the same team that I was on at Sub Zero Sim Racing. And he's like, "Yo, bro, I'll just go in with you, and we'll do this together." And I was like, "Hell yeah, man! Like doing it with my best friend can't be no better, right?"
Yeah.
So at first we just offered late models and sprint cars winged, and then we brought Jeremy Parker along for a while, and he was building our big blocks. And then just we've had some come and go. We've had some big names: Logan Herbert, Sean McPhee, Davin Cardwell. And then in this business they kind of come and go. You get some that stay, you get some that don't. So we just try to make it a good place where, like I said, everybody can come and feel welcomed at the end of the day. We all work, we all have lives. This is the last place we want to come and have more drama.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a lot of what drew us to partner with you guys. But what is what were you doing to get into sim racing, iRacing? I mean, were you kind of already on the dirt track kind of side of things, watching races, and or were you involved perhaps? I know a lot of people that are builders on iRacing have raced in real life sometimes.
Yeah, I've actually never raced myself. My dad and uncles and all them raced throughout my life, so I grew up around a lot of like dirt track racing and a lot of drag racing actually. And then as I got older and a young adult, I'm a little older now. So when I was in my early 20s, I had actually built a drift car and did some like drifting things.
Hmm.
And then I had gotten into Assetto Corsa for the drifting mods on that. Um, and I seen iRacing. I was like, man, I got to try that. Like, I love dirt track racing. It's the only thing I've seen that's even like remotely a sim when it comes to dirt track, because you got those console games, but they're not really exactly like a sim style game. So I got into this, and then, like I said, man, I bought a few setups from the other shops. When I got into it, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Then I got to looking at it, I was like, man, this really isn't that bad if you know what you're doing and you understand cars.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, worked around cars my whole life and helping them, build dirt track cars, drag cars. I built a drift car. I mean, I have a little bit of expertise and a little bit of everything when it comes to that. It's just, I guess I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. So, um, but yeah, man, I've always loved racing. I've always been a racing fan, and I've always had racing passion. And then I also just like to be a leader in a community. So it's just awesome that I can be, two birds in one stone. I get to have an awesome community behind me with a lot of racing fans and racing enthusiasts.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one of the things. Another, that just drew us to kind of partnering with you guys is that you guys are all about your community, and that's what we are all about as well. Like we if we didn't make $1, we'd be fine as long as we just had our community around us, and that's what we really really love the most about it. I mean, I know there's a lot of other shops out there, and I'm not trying to disparage them or talk trash about them, but I just feel like they're in it for the money, and we are in it for the fun. We're in it for the community, just because we love to be here. Is that kind of represent what you are here for?
Absolutely, man. At the end of the day, after we're done testing or we're done racing, we go play, Ready or Not, or just various different games together. We're At the end of the day, we're a friend of our group of like friends, and that's what our core base is. Just, I mean, most of my staff that came from Sub-Zero Sim Racing, or just my friends throughout gaming. So a lot of people that help me run this thing are just my friends, man, and that's what it's all about to me, is just having these friends to play video games with at the end of the day. And if iRacing was to shut down tomorrow, or if we was to close the shop for some reason, I would still be playing video games with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think we're the
that's
same
what it's
way.
more for to me. Yeah, it's just like you said, it doesn't matter. I mean, money's nice. Everybody likes money, but if we don't make any money, that's cool, man. We're just here for, like, I'll help anybody that comes in that Discord and wants. I'll help them set up a car. They don't
Yeah,
have to pay me a dime.
that's
So
definitely a
it's
good way to
just,
be.
yeah.
Now,
I
what do
don't
you
think
think
it's
sets you apart? The group. Why do you think your shop has been successful?
100% the community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when they come in there and talk to us, or anybody ever came in there and talked to us. I mean, that if they have something bad to say, it's never about the core group. It's about like the shop as a whole. How's that thing goes. It's just this shop versus this shop. It's a war anymore. And we try to stop that. Like,
Yeah.
I make my guys, promise or whatever you want to say, that they're not going to do these things, and if they do, they're no longer going to be my guys, because that's not something I want to represent here. I just want to race hard. I want to have fun, and if we can be the fast, awesome. If not, we'll try again next week.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think the community is what sets us apart 100%, because you I don't know if you can go in any other Discord and find 70% of their staff and builders in Discord all day every day,
Yeah.
or at
That's
least
for
every
sure.
night.
Y'all
We got
definitely
work.
have a populated Discord. That's for sure. We look over there a lot of times to just see people hanging out all the time.
Oh yeah, and then like we got our little racing channels and everything else. If you want to go sit in a channel with like just somebody else and race, you can do that. But man, 90% of the time we got somebody running top split and bottom split late models, and then we got somebody on like Fortnite, and then we got somebody on Minecraft. And they're all just in this group. Just nobody gets annoyed. Like I've seen it before where people get like annoyed because somebody's in there talking. And it's like, you're in the open like Discord,
Yeah.
man. We have channels for that. Like, but anymore, it's just everybody just enjoys each other's company so much that it doesn't matter what we're doing. We can all just sit there and hang out and talk, and somebody can talk about a race, or somebody can be calling out call outs in Call of Duty or something, and it's like, yeah, get them, guys, while they're racing. It's just a great time over there, man, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't.
Yeah, definitely sounds like you guys have a awesome community. What are some big accomplishments that you guys have you're really proud of?
I mean, we have put a few people in the Pro Series. Unfortunately, shortly after getting the Pro Series, they happened to make a switch of teams, which is 100% fine. They thought it was in their best interest, and I'll never hold anybody back. So we have put a few people into the Pro Series, and then I think I mean, it just comes back to this racing is awesome, and I love iRacing, but I am so proud of this community, man. I just can't go back to the community enough, because they have supported me, and
No,
yeah.
I hear you.
But on the racing side, I mean, we're kind of that middle of the road shop, if you want to say, or that's how everybody feels about us right now, because we don't have like a 10K I rated guy, we don't have an 8K I rated guy, but we have these guys out here in these leagues, and they're putting up top fives, top tens against the best every week. So I can't say enough about those guys. They put in a shit ton of work with me, and yeah, dude, we all, I mean, most of those guys over there, we're an older group, guys. I'm one of the youngest at like 31, so we're pretty old over there. But we all work our 40 to 60 hours a week, and then we just come hang out, test, make sure all of our guys are good, and then we go play games. So that's where it's at for me. And being the fact that we can keep up and compete with some of these guys that's been on the sim since it started. Some of these guys have been on dirt since it started. I happened to come along just a couple years ago, and just I might be pretty good at this and ended up being good at it. So. I think we're in a pretty good spot for where we are and where we are in our life of our shop.
Yeah, definitely. No, you guys definitely seem like you're providing some good stuff. I know we've even seen some of our familiar faces that used to be with Team Watson over there. We're like, this guy's over here.
Yeah, we have quite a broad community over there. We have them we got Australians to Americans to Canadians, and of all different races and types, and we love that, man. It's awesome.
Well, that's really good. That kind of brings me to the next thing, because I know a lot of times I don't know if you've seen this as well, but the dirt side of iRacing can sometimes be somewhat toxic, and it seems like you guys are kind of not that way.
Man, anymore it's when I
like
quit
even
racing
racism,
officials.
even like I've seen racism.
Oh,
and things like that.
it's so bad, man. But I have a pretty good bot and some pretty good moderators, so anything like that happens around us, it's like you said, we do a pretty good job of snipping that in the butt. And the racing anymore, man, it's just honestly, it's like a war out there. Like it really is, between all the shops trying to get their posts or whatever. Like I could care less if I post it. I just do that to make my guys feel good. Like it doesn't do it. I mean, it might say that we won a big race. That's cool, but does it actually benefit me any? It's for my guys. Like that's why I do the post. And then I just don't agree with a lot of thoughts and actions that happen. And I'm just gonna say on the dirt side of iRacing right now, like the dirt oval side of iRacing, there's a lot of things that just shouldn't happen. Not only just like to be reasonable, but morally, and it's just it really gets out of hand sometimes. And there's people will go make paints on their cars to be like derogatory and things like it's crazy, man. And it's just I don't understand it, but I guess that's maybe just the age that the dirt oval side is in right now, and I think it has something to do with setup shops. But every side of the community has setup shops. Road, dirt road, oval. Everybody has setup shops, and it's not this bad on every aspect of the sim.
Well, I don't know. I feel like asphalt oval is pretty bad. I mean, we all have experienced some of the other shops doing some things that are quite questionable, and we feel the same way. Like it seems like it's like a war to get that SOF post. That's all it is.
Exactly. That's all it is.
That's all they care about is they're willing to wreck you to get that SOF post.
100%. And it's sad to see it. And I think it comes down to like there was a big post just today on the iRacing Dirt Facebook or whatever, and it was somebody asking like what is wrong,
Yeah.
And it comes down to post, it comes down to like it's a war, man. It's everybody trying to get that post, and it's I've heard, I don't know because we don't have this stipulation, but there's stipulations like if you don't win so many races a week, or if it's not of a certain SOF, like I mean, you're no longer with us, or you're no longer getting free setups or discounted setups or whatever the case may be for that, certain case. I mean, my requirements for my guys are you have to run 2 races a week. I don't care if it's a league or an official. And then if you win, lose, draw, doesn't matter. I want you out there racing and having a good time. I don't care if you win. I don't care if you lose. If you get wrecked out, man, good race, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah,
there's not enough time in the day to be doing everything that's happening in this sim right now.
Like, well, I think the dollars is what is the main focus, and just the publicity and stuff like that. They're trying to, it's just the greed. I think like you were talking about morals. I think morals are coming into it, and I think that, I think that's why you're successful, and you're going to probably be even more successful. And hopefully that's the same thing for us here, because we all prioritize the community. We're here to have a good time, and hopefully people see that. Because I mean, you don't want to be in a toxic atmosphere. So I've been in shops before, and I know that James can attest to this. That that where no one wants to hang out there, no one wants to be in that room.
Right, and that's what we. And I just don't. I don't think it's worth it, man. I mean, I work construction, so I don't want to bust my butt all day and then come home and get in a group chat where they're just yelling at people in other races or et cetera, et cetera. That's not my vibe, man. I want to come home and game a little bit. I've always gamed. It's always been my thing. Gaming has always been my thing. Like, I love gaming. Anytime it came in, like, you got a game you want to play, let me know. I'll download it. Let's play it, man. Like, I don't care what it is. I love gaming, and I love gaming with people. I don't like single player games. I can't stand here just to sit and play by myself, or even if I'm talking to somebody, it's a little rough. It's like, man, what are you doing? Like, come play with me.
We're social creatures, that's for sure.
Very much so, very much so.
Well, I know Vincent, you're the one that actually kind of began the relationship between us, and I know we had that like announcement, I do believe, in one of our episodes. But Vincent's the one that kind of brought you guys to our attention and kind of orchestrated this whole deal. Vincent, do you have anything that maybe you want to talk to Brent or ask him questions or anything like that?
Brent, what's that wheel behind you?
That is a G923. I run a G923 wheel, and then I run Fanatec CSL Elite pedals.
High roller right here, boys.
My old lady actually got me the wheel because she was noticing that I wanted to get into like the set of course, the drifting and stuff. So she bought me just like the Logitech G923 setup like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever it was. And then I came across the pedals through one of the guys on our Discord. Actually, our brand manager, Jeremy Parker. You've talked with him a few times. He had upgraded his pedals, so I got a crazy deal on these pedals. I couldn't pass it up, so I ended up upgrading pedals, and I feel like that's. And on dirt side of iRacing, I feel like you don't need the greatest wheel, but you do need some better pedals.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. It's probably the same way on the asphalt because I mean pedals.
Everyone
are more
tells
important.
me pedals. It's all about pedals.
Man. It's pedals.
I didn't know that, and I paid a lot of money for a wheel that I don't actually have mounted right now because my G29 has better pedals that go to it than the wheel does. So
that's rough.
I have a very expensive wheel and wheelbase sitting in a closet right now until I can put the money together to buy myself some pedals. But anyways, no, I just wanted to, because I saw that behind you and I wanted to ask because I feel like so many times people think people think, oh, set up shop owner, oh man, he's probably using that money to buy himself these big rigs and these,
right.
Oh man, he's spending that money on this, that, and the other thing. It's like, no. And then and the other thought is that so many people think, oh well, these setup shop owners, they're only putting this down because they have like the best rigs ever. Like that's why they can feel everything in the track. It's like, no.
I don't think they know us at all.
You think you need.
That's the crazy thing.
All you need is a wheel, and all you need is some pedals, and like that's it to be fast. That's all you need is you just wheel and pedals, and however you get it.
I ran the standard Logitech pedals till I think it was about a year ago when I got these pedals. So
James runs a controller. He's on a controller. He plays on keyboard.
He plays on keyboard.
It's not quite that bad, but people don't realize I'm literally sitting at my sim rig right now.
Mine folds up, luckily, so it's just like a little stowaway base.
I don't even have that. I literally sit on a disc chair that's on a welcome mat, so I don't slide all the way back to my bed when I slam on the brakes.
Well,
unfortunately, I still have a rig.
I still I got those Fanatec pedal brakes, man. Those things are no joke.
Oh my god, yeah.
And James is a multiple Pro 2 Light champion.
Yeah. 8 times total.
You're on a controller?
No, he's not on a controller.
What does he look like? What does he look like, Mizumer?
I am not. I have no idea how Tim is able to be that fast on the controller.
Idea.
He's been on a controller that whole time.
He's always been on a controller.
He used to work for Bill for us.
Yeah, he built for us for a little while too.
He's uncomfortable on a wheel. That's how wild it is. But I'm on a CSL Elite wheelbase with the the Club Sport V3 pedals, and yeah, like whenever I'm helping some of my other buddies, I always try to tell them like, you need the best pedals you can get. Just anything load cell, being able to feel, fine tune how much pressure you need to put in is huge, because it helps you feel the edge of grip in whatever you're driving so much more better. And in disciplines where you kind of need that, like off-road or short track or most forms of road where you need to feel where you're at the edge of grip, at least braking wise, like it's huge.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't, like I said, I don't know how he does it because that little trigger is not very stiff. So
No.
I don't understand how he applies brake and he can drive. So it's very
That's
impressive.
crazy.
That scares me.
There goes
Right.
the old lady.
It scares me how good people can be on controllers. I require as much help as possible.
Yeah, or you look at Ty Majeski and he's got like 10,000 iRating accounts and he's on a dining room table, a little dinky wheel on a laptop. Like I don't get
Yep.
it.
Yeah, I think everybody gets a misconception of what. I mean, if you're going to be fast, you're going to be fast, right? And then the only thing that's going to make you any faster, some equipment might help. It might knock off a thousandth of a second, But at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to help you get any faster is just seat time.
Yeah.
Seat time, seat
Yeah.
time, seat time. Just the more time you put in, the better you're going to learn the tracks. You're going to learn the cars. You're going to learn where your throttle points are, where your brake points are. It's just, yes, I agree. I mean, I upgraded my pedals, obviously, so I do believe there's a little bit of an advantage there, but I don't think it's enough to make somebody that's 1,000 iRating be 10,000 iRating.
No,
That'd
definitely
be
not
seat
at all.
time.
Well, I mean, you got to also be good at wreck avoidance. The pedals ain't going to help you do that.
That is 100% true. I think that's another thing. Like going back to the like what's going on in dirt side is there is no wreck avoidance on dirt side right now. It's just and I think it may. Some of my guys have talked to me about this. I know some of my like higher iRated guys have come and talked to me about this, and it's just people run through each other, but it's everybody at that rating is just at a mindset that iRacing penalizes you for checking up. If you come to a stop or if you check up for the car, you go to the back. So
Really?
they're actually you go to the back, you get an EOL if you stop on the track. So if you're avoiding a wreck or you slide sideways to avoid a wreck or something, you're going to the back with them.
Is that something that's not happens in real life, does it? Or
It just really depends, but no, not really.
I say that's
I mean,
not
not unless
something
you're
on
just
NASCAR.
absolutely part of the wreck.
That don't happen in
you know.
NASCAR. You should probably hit the brake if you're avoiding a wreck.
Yeah.
The caution logic in iRacing is a bit dubious, especially in dirt with caution laps not counting. It always tends to cause a lot of chaos. So it's really not surprising here.
Yeah, a lot of the, like I said, a lot of the higher guys are just like, there's no benefit to checking up for a wreck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're going to do their best to not, wreck their car, and they're not going to run into them deliberately. But if something happens in front of you in iRacing on dirt side, it's just better just to go through it than it is to check up for it, unless you just
Days
confident
of
you
Thunder.
can run through.
Yeah.
Unless you're just confident you can run back up through the field, which in a higher iRating, SOF, that's not going to happen most of the time.
Yeah.
Everybody's fast at that point. So it's just, I mean, you see it from everybody. And, I watch a lot of races. I don't do a whole lot of official racing myself anymore because it's a war.
Yeah.
So that's not, I came to race. I want to race. I don't want to measure, what's. So at the end of the day, I do a lot of like watching. I like to watch my guys. I like to have them go live, or I'll just, that new spectate thing that makes it a lot easier to spectate your guys on iRacing. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet or not. There's like a spectate section under the Go Racing section now.
Well, yeah, I know on the website you could always spectate your friends and stuff like that.
You could too on the UI. It was just a little harder to do before. I'm
an old website guy. I got to be honest. I'm a website guy. Like
I came into, I actually, when I originally downloaded iRacing, it was off of Steam.
Oh wow,
so
that's a big mistake.
I was automatically a UI guy.
Yeah.
So I'd never really. The only thing I had to use the website for before was leagues, because for some reason I couldn't figure out how to accept leagues on the UI beforehand. So,
yeah, I was sending an invite to someone in one of the leagues I'm admin to, and this is the first time I've done it on the UI. It took me 20 minutes to do so, when it only took me like 2 or 3 in the website.
Yeah.
I think the UI is a good thing, and I think it's really good at allocating everything you're looking for into one space.
I think
But
the
for
reason
some,
for it's a good thing. I mean, considering the reason that I think they're really pushing so hard is because of security. I think it's got something to do with like anti-cheat things or something like that. It's very easy to get anti-cheats behind or through the browsers, I do believe.
right?
So I get it. It's just
Yeah.
I hate change. I'm human. Like,
I feel that. Luckily for me, like I said, I was a UI user
Brett, the
from the
question I
beginning, so
have, all right, Brett, assume I don't know anything about dirt.
Mhm.
Okay. I want to run dirt and I want to be not just run dirt, but I want to be good at dirt. Where should I start? How should I do it? What should I look for? Give me like a 12 steps to success. I'm a dirt racer. I just joined iRacing and I want to be a dirt racer.
so I would say obviously you're going to definitely start by running through your licenses, and you should do it diligently, not just try to make it through the license just to get to the next car, right? I think you should learn the cars. I think you should actually take your time and move your way through the licenses properly, and then I would
man, he preaching. Oof.
after that I would figure out these style, because dirt has a few different styles. It's we have the late models, we have the sprints, we have the mods, and we have the street stocks, that are our main 4 elements there. So I would figure out which one you want to run, because a lot of times, unless you just got a crazy amount of time or you're just an alien, you're not going to be good in every car. So I'd figure out what you like the best and what you want to put your time and effort into. I would learn how to adjust the car. I would go in there. iRacing does a decent job of explaining. If you just hover over the little area you're trying to adjust in your setup, they do a decent job of explaining what will happen if you change that.
Mm.
They don't really tell you how, when, why, where, but they tell you what will happen. So I would learn, small adjustments on your car, because even as a setup shop owner and a builder myself, nobody can build the perfect setup. It
Yeah.
doesn't exist,
Yeah, that's true.
right? So I would learn, even if you don't want to run, open setups, I would still learn what adjustments do a little bit of each things, just so you have a little bit of understanding, because that'll also help you understand how the car works. And then I would learn my tracks. I would take. I'm a creature of like repetition. So like when I'm building setups, I turn 2,000 laps, to build at that track, and I make sure I know what the car is going to do at every point in the track, because it's going to change throughout the night and it's going to change throughout the week. They're not going to load in and have the same track ever. So I gotta make sure the setup's going to work throughout all of that. So I would just say learn your tracks, make sure you know what the track's going to do, and if you're dirt racing, you got to know how to drive when the track's tacky. You got to know how to drive when it's slick. And you got to know how to keep your car under control when there's other cars around you, because it's a wild beast. You're always sideways, in dirt. So you got to be able to control that.
Yeah.
And then a great key that I tell a lot of my guys, if they just can't figure out why somebody's walking away from them or why this guy may be faster than them, iRacing gives you a great tool in the spectate
Yeah.
or in the replay. Go look at what lines he was hitting. Go look at what he was doing. That comes down to learning the track, but that can also be another tool of learning what he's doing. iRacing kind of like jumbles the throttle a little bit, so unless you know the guy or something, you're really not going to get his throttle points out of him. But you can kind of understand where he's doing, what he's doing, why he's doing it, and then you can implement that into your own like racing style. And that's another thing: learn your racing style. Not a lot of people can run the top, bottom, middle. So if you're a bottom feeder, know you're a bottom feeder. Don't try to run away from that. Just hone your craft.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I've tried to do dirt racing myself before, and I find it going, having started in on the NASCAR side, like it's incredibly difficult, I'd say, to transition from doing like asphalt stuff to dirt, because I feel like a lot of the things you have to do in dirt are almost the opposite of what you do in the asphalt. Like you hit the brake, you spin out in the dirt. you know.
yeah, they've kind of gotten a little better on that. But back in the day, yes, it was. If you didn't have that right front connected, because we can unconnect the right front. I don't know if you guys can, but we can unconnect the right front brake, which I always do. Just a little tip out there.
Mm.
But when you hit the brake, obviously only the left brake was working, so it would straight like pull your car around.
Yeah.
But they've done a little better on that. But the cars are a little bit tighter than they used to be now too as well. So it's a little bit harder to make it just spin around on you. And
Now, have you
yeah,
had because I know you said your family, was your father? You said
yeah, my
raced in real
father and my
life.
uncle. Yep.
Have you gotten him to do iRacing Dirt? What did he think about it?
Actually, no, I haven't. I don't really
I
talk
think
to
I'd be
him.
curious because if he's done it in real life,
It would be interesting. It would be interesting to see. I've heard a lot of people say, see, and that's where I get because I've never actually been in my car myself. I think I've raced like a go kart a couple times, and I used to race a little bit of dirt bikes when I was way younger. But um, I've never been in an actual car. But I've heard people say, yeah, it's pretty close, and I've heard people say, yeah, good luck. It's not even remotely the same.
might be with
So,
different cars because
and it could be.
Because I know
But,
that the same thing is for like they will say like, oh yeah, the Xfinity feels pretty much just like the real thing, or they'll say, oh, the truck don't feel anything like it, or something like. I'm not being, but that I think iRacing tries their best.
I think it's the best platform we have.
Yeah,
I don't think there's what is there, a Assetto Corsa, and
there ain't no dirt racing on there. I don't believe, is
no,
there?
there ain't no. And to do like the drifting and stuff like I was wanting to do, you have to mod the crap out of it. So there's no real drifting in Assetto Corsa. It's a road racing game, I believe, mostly.
Yeah. So have you? I know some of your guys have really tried. We've gotten. I know Jeremy Parker. Some of those guys have started to try to maybe work with our NASCAR stuff. Have you heard anything about that? What are they thinking about our
Yeah,
TWRS?
I've heard some pretty good things there, man. I've heard that they're pretty fast. I think they actually I want to say Eric Hudson. He's a newer guy. He's newer to just the sim in general.
I've seen him talking a lot or commenting a lot
hmm
on our
So
Discord.
he's been running them quite a bit, and he's really been enjoying those. So, and I think we got a new member on the team for the NASCAR side, which his name's Dylan Ackert. He's actually just our social media manager, but we promoted him to Sub Zero, which means he gets access to these. So
He's a pretty
he's
talented driver from what I've heard.
I think he's right around 35 or 4K on the asphalt side.
Yeah.
So he's actually a much higher rated guy on the asphalt side than he is the dirt side. I guess he just fell in love with dirt for a little while and ended up with us.
Yeah.
So he's really excited to try those. I don't know if he's tried any just yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about them, man. I've heard they've done pretty good and had some good finishes when they do run them.
Well, that's good. We definitely love it, and I know we've had. I don't know, James. Have you heard anything from like Miles? I know Miles Morse. He runs dirt. We've had some other guys that have. We've sent your way to kind of from the TWRS group. Have you heard anything, James, about or maybe you have Brent heard anything about some of our guys? I mean, what have they thought of your product?
Yeah, Miles is actually in most of our Sunday test sessions that we have. So he's in there testing with us, and
That's awesome.
we've had some pretty good feedback from him. And he's even gave some feedback on like where he thinks the setups need to go, and that's awesome. That's what we love, is that everybody can work together and bring the best of what we can, as a team. Not just I'm not doing this alone. We are a team at the end of the day, and that's awesome. That even somebody from your guys' side will come over and put in and run some races. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that's what I'm glad it's all working out. I love having you guys as partners for sure, and I think more of the iRacing community could probably learn something from that. We all don't have to be at each other's throats. Of course, we are from two different disciplines, so that does not hurt.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Well, that's actually like that's one of the I don't know how else to say it, but I guess one of the sadder parts of the dirt racing side is I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good off with all the other owners. It's like the lower it boils down to the drivers hating each other, which causes all this problems. But I was talking to Blake Majulis just today. We had our birthdays are similar, so we were telling each other happy birthday.
Yeah.
He's one of the owners of Majulis C. One of the other bigger shops in the dirt side. So I mean, it really doesn't. It boils down lower, and that's where everything stews. I think because I've talked to everybody for the most part on the dirt side that owns a shop, and we all get along. So
Yeah, and we found it to be similar with some of the shops. I mean, I feel like we're on good terms with Conti and EPI. I feel like those guys are pretty cool with us. But there have been other shops where it's more of a top problem. Like it's not the drivers, it's the top. Now, of course, I don't want to go too deep into those discussions, but I mean, I think that of course, there's always going to be drama, but I think we should always trying to you know, be better and try to be a good example. Because I mean, you even said it. Talk about a lot of the drama comes from shops, and we got to try to be better. If we're gonna change iRacing for the better, we got to be better. Because everybody blames shops, so everybody looks at us.
Absolutely. It all comes down to, like you said, it comes down to the owners at the end of the day. But unfortunately, there's only, I don't know, like 5 or 6 big shops on the dirt side,
Mm-hmm.
and there's 2,000 or plus people racing dirt. So they end up in these like big groups. So it's hard to control a big group of people,
Yeah.
because it just becomes like a mob or like a cult mentality. And I think that happens at every shop. It's like I run for this shop, so like I got to think they're the best, and we're we're awesome. Everybody else
Yeah, that's
sucks.
true.
So
It
and I
is
think
kind of true. Yeah, I can see that cult mentality. That's funny.
yeah, and I think after talking with a lot of the other owners, it's they do their best, and some of these shops, like you mentioned DPI. EPI has like, what is it, like 4,000 people in their Discord.
Wow.
Like that is like an insane amount. That would be so hard for Tyler to, which he does an
To
awesome job. Tyler
maintain
does
all those people. Yeah.
awesome. Tyler does a pretty awesome job of it, man. I love Tyler. Tyler's a great guy. But he does an awesome job of trying to keep, it down to a minimum. But there's 4,000 guys versus one.
Yeah.
It's
No, you're right.
so, and I have like 400, and that's still a handful for me. Like I got to go to work and do all this other stuff, and still try to keep control of all these guys.
Oh yeah.
So
Been
I
plenty of
think
times I've come home and found somebody says something wrong. I'm like, what? Oh no. Delete.
Yeah. So you gotta go, buddy. we've done our fair share, and Jeremy Parker does a very good job. He does a good job of monitoring everybody. He's a brand manager, so he's the one that does all the hiring, the firing. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, I build late models and I kind of hang out. I mean, this shop kind of just runs itself. The staff that we have in place, it all takes care of itself.
I'm gonna hire those guys.
Yeah. We have guys, that run the websites. We have guys that run the social medias. We have guys, that like Parker, that's a brand manager that kind of looks over it all. And I mean, like I said, at this point, I build late models and I hang out with the guys in the shop, and it pretty much takes care of itself.
Yeah. Oh man, sounds like you guys got a good team of guys. Go ahead, Vincent.
Oh, they're awesome. They're awesome, man. I wouldn't
Sounds
trade them for the
sounds
world.
like James a little bit, huh?
Oh,
Pretty much, yeah.
Now James is personnel. He handles the personnel. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more or less just the mascot at this point, really.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like, I'm blessed that I've been able to have such awesome guys with Brian, Vincent, and Kenny, to where I don't have to worry about having the brunt of running everything like I did back when I first started this. Now I've got people that I trust with my life, that I know I can delegate and things are going to get done properly, and I don't have to stress about it, and I can focus on other aspects of the team and be better with that a little more, and knowing that the other important stuff is going to be taken care of.
Absolutely. There's no better feeling, as a boss or whatever you want to call us, that, if I wanted to, I could take a month, 2 months, 3 months off iRacing, and I feel like the shop would run itself just fine. I have Robbie Overstreet could build the late models for me, and I could just take time off if I wanted, and nothing would change, and I could just come
that
back.
must be nice.
Dude, it's awesome, man. There's they get compensated pretty well, but it's awesome that that I'm able to have something like that in my life. Not only just on the sim, just in my life in general. People like that would,
Yeah.
I don't know if they die for me, but they might die for me. They would put themselves on the fire for me, and there's no better feeling than that, man. And I don't think I've ever met any of these guys face to face.
Oh, you got to change that, man. That's what we got to change too. I want
Yeah,
Vincent,
yeah.
me, and James to get together one of these days.
Yeah, we're planning on going to one of the bigger races this year, so that'll be
good.
pretty awesome. We can get 20 of us together or so at a
Coming to
race.
Charlotte?
20 of us. That's a lot
I don't
of
know if
people.
we're going to Charlotte. I think everybody's talking about Eldora.
Some way, somehow, we got to get everyone to come to Charlotte. Brian, I was thinking Mother's Day, Darlington,
You piqued my interest now. I go to Darlington every time they run a race. I mean,
I'm gonna be down there with the Broken Wheel podcast. So
maybe we'll see
I mean,
you
I
soon.
already
That'd be
live,
great.
here in Charlotte, but Brent, for you, when it comes to this partnership, have you gotten? How do I want to ask this? Do you feel like it's been surprisingly more fruitful than you thought? Like, did you think you were gonna have this level of cooperation with our guys working with your guys and your guys working with our guys? Our guys working on dirt stuff with you, and then obviously, guys like Dylan. Dylan and I ran Long Beach and shaved 3/4 of a second off my fastest time. I went from like a 1:22.5 down to a 1:21 with the help of Dylan. Do you feel like that was is that something that you anticipated? Is that something you want to see more of? And is there something that maybe we can do to kind of exemplify that and keep that happening?
It was definitely something that I was hoping for coming into this. I know a lot of my guys, we're a very open and friendly group, so I was really hoping that we get over there. Unfortunately, I know a lot of like my main guys don't touch too much asphalt, so I was kind of hoping that might change a little bit. And I'm hoping to touch some asphalt myself. I've ran a couple of little like practices and races with them and stuff, but I haven't actually got to race any of the sets myself just yet. So I'm looking forward to getting to touch some asphalt. But it was definitely something I was looking forward to happening. I just didn't. It's one of those things, you never know if it's going to, like I want that to happen, but is it really going to? And it's in from us, a lot of our guys. I know we have like I don't remember what his name was, but somebody from you guys, and I think one or two are over there from us. So it's mainly it was like a group of people that have never talked, and within the first week or so, we were all working together and collaborating on just trying to make us all better together. So for it to happen so fast, and as much as it has, that's been awesome. Like that's it's more than I could have hoped for.
One thing I think about, like,
Have you
I was
had
just
that
thinking
in?
about it. Go ahead, Vincent. Sorry.
I was going to say, have you had that in previous collaborations?
Unfortunately, not really. We did have some good times with a couple of them, but I think for the most part, it was their asphalt, we're dirt. You know, we'll just we'll be asphalt, you be dirt, kind of thing. So it was cool. I mean, they would run some sets and give some feedback, but it wasn't as much as like we have like 2 or 3 of your guys in our test sessions, every week. So that's awesome. I mean, that's just more people, more time on the track, more time in the setups, and more eyes and more hands, driving it. So I think it's awesome, and this is the most that we've had out of any collaboration that we've done.
Now, I was thinking about this just now, about because I know NASCAR Next Gens and the trucks go to dirt tracks sometimes, like Eldora. They go to Bristol Dirt. That's one thing we were talking about collaboration. I'd love to see whenever we do go to a dirt track to see you guys kind of help us in the NASCAR Next Gen. It sucks though that that none of your cars go to asphalt. We'd help
Yeah,
you.
unfortunately, with the way they run, man, and tire wear now, we wouldn't make it but like 5 laps max, like max at a small track before they blew the tires. But no, I actually, fun fact, not too long ago, I tried my hand at building a cup car.
Yeah.
I'd built one of these leagues that I think somebody's team runs, and so I had built a cup car Knoxville setup actually,
Mm,
and
it's a tough
that
track.
was a very interesting process for sure. It was a lot of me doing the hovering over those things to see what's going to happen. But we ended up getting it done, and they had a pretty good race. So pretty proud of myself for that. I like to say if it's got 4 wheels and an engine, I can build it.
Well, there you go. Well, we can't wait. Hopefully, when we do end up going to a dirt track in the next gens or the truck, that we'll be looking at you. We'll be like, hey, Brent, can you come over here and look at it?
Yeah, for sure.
Test it out for us.
I'll definitely have to get some. That might be my asphalt racing I get in is those dirt tracks.
Yeah, that's right. But definitely appreciate it. I think we're coming up on about 45 minutes now. I think that's we've talked quite a bit. I think if you let us keep going, we'll talk probably for another hour. But it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Anything else you kind of want to say before we kind of close this thing on out? I mean, maybe some things you got on the horizon.
Man, we got a couple. We actually have a couple money races coming up, so be on the lookout for that. Everybody loves money races. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, as long as you're not blacklisted from any of our events, you're more than welcome to come. We're hoping for a pretty good purse, and for the Holly Jolly not too long ago, our sponsor Sim Panel gave out a button box, so we're hoping for something around that area again. Maybe try to get some more prizes in from some sponsors, and just maybe out of our pocket, try to get some bigger things going. We know there's some big races that go on the dirt side. Some 4 or 6, $10,000 win races, but
it's not dirt racing.
it's not it's not going to be anything like that. But it's just going to be they're going to be real cheap to enter, probably maybe even free. And then it's just to give back to the community, man. That's at the end of the day, we want to give back everything. If you guys ever need help on dirt or anybody needs help on dirt, be sure to check us out. We're more than willing to help. You don't have to spend a dime. And check out TWRS. If you guys don't, subscribe to them or anything yet, you got to, bro. They're killing it.
Oh, we appreciate that, man. And, of course, all of your setups are available on our website. But we, of course, very much like to see people go and actually subscribe to you guys. It's a much cheaper option. Just like subscribing to us is much cheaper than buying an individual setup. That is for sure. And the setup's good because you knew this was going to come. I won last week.
I've seen that.
I won at Iowa. And, hey, Vincent even says this is probably the most likes we've ever got on a post.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would. Yeah, subscribe, guys. If you're going to, we would prefer, because we don't really, the money, like we said before, the money's nice, but we would prefer you guys to subscribe if you like our setups, because it's like a 90% discount.
Yeah,
to subscribe to us.
And the person that subscribes, I don't know if it's the same way with y'all, but you become like a member of the team in a lot of ways. Like you get access to the same things, to talking. Yep. I mean, to be able to have it's further deeper access into the community.
Absolutely, like we have a little
I don't know how many guys have subscribed and then just became team members. It's
we've had that plenty of times.
They subscribe and then it's just a few months later. It's like, hey,
you've improved so much.
We'd like to have you at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a sponsored driver program or something we do. We pick so many people out at the beginning of the season. We have a little application process. But I think we've had more people come to like the house team or whatever you want to call it from being a subscriber than we actually have from them doing like the tryout process or whatever you want to call the subscribers or the sponsored drivers. Because after the sponsors up, they usually think there's nowhere to go, but we like to hire from within. We don't want to go out and just find the best driver and be like, hey, come drive for us. We want to build drivers up. We want to make sure they're part of the community. We want to make sure that they're getting the help and the skills that they need.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. I mean, of course, we do want to find some really good drivers and bring them over too.
Absolutely.
But I mean, but we want to build a driver. I think that's what you're kind of hinting at there, getting at right there. That shows how good the product is when you can build a good driver.
Absolutely, and we've done it time and time again, and it's honestly it is honestly one of the funnest processes.
Oh yeah.
Especially if somebody's even if they're like a plateau driver, maybe they might be at a decent I rating, but they plateau, just to see the gain and the process of them becoming a whole new person or a whole new driver. That is much better to me than winning any race ever for myself.
Oh yeah.
Ever.
Watching
I would much rather
grow
Oh my God, man, that is the best feeling in the world. Is just knowing that it might not even be your product. It's just, even if they I've helped people just coming in the Discord and then come back and be like, thank you, man, et cetera, et cetera. And that is one of the best feelings. That I could care less what else happens as long as somebody is gaining something from their experience with me.
No, I think we all can probably agree on that for sure. Well, Brent, we definitely appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully we'll have you on for another episode. It was very much enjoyable to have you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yes, sir. Okay, this has been the TWRS Fireside Chat, episode 4. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.